Ahri. You know Ahri. Nine-tailed wonder, original league sex symbol, and faker outplay bait Ahri. While it's been a while since we've seen Ahri in pro play, she's always had a dedicated player base. The Ahri subreddit is full of amazing fan art focused on originality and other things. But even if you're like me and you feel like you don't see the champion picked much, she does have a pick rate of around 5%, and her win rate throughout her tenure in the league has rarely dropped below 50%. In fact, it's more typically around the 51 to 52% mark. And while she performs well in her main role of mid, one of my viewers requested an Ahri Support video, so I went out and found the best one in the world. Our summoner today is known as këpt, but I'm just going to call him Kept to make it easy for myself. And he is the aforementioned best Ahri support player in the world who has had some wild success on her in Season 11. Kept has been playing ranked on this account since Season 6, and he plays on the Brazilian server, just like our Nidalee support player video. In Season 6, he started the game playing mid and jungle, focusing on 3 main champions, Gragas, Yasuo, and Zed. 2 of those are the bane of many players' existence. I'm trying to like this guy. In his first season, he played over 100 games and he was able to reach the bottom of Diamond. In Season 7, he just played enough games to retain his Diamond rank and moved away from the jungle, instead becoming a full-time mid laner, mixing in newfound favorites Ahri, Vlad, and Jace. Season 8, he began to switch away from the mid lane into the support role, playing standard hook and engage supports like Pyke, Nautilus, and Leona, but again playing minimal amount of games. It wasn't until Season 9 and 10 that he really started buckling down and focusing on support. He took the biggest liking to Nami and Nautilus, pulling an over 60% win rate on both of them with over 130 games played between the 2 champions. But even with all of that success, he wasn't able to get past Diamond in any of the previous seasons. Something was wrong. He couldn't carry games with these 2 champions like he used to in the mid lane, so he decided to try an old favorite as support in Season 11 as Ahri, and it worked. This season, he has played over 100 games of Ahri support with a 67% win rate and has finally been able to push himself into Master Tier 237 LP, where he is still climbing to this day. Looking deeper into Ahri as a support, there are a few issues we need to discuss. First, her 1 CC ability is a single target, is relatively short, and can easily be dodged. Also, she's somewhat shorter range in comparison to other poke supports that have become prevalent in Season 11. Like we talk about for all our supports, you're a support, which means you're poor and will hit your power spikes a lot slower than you would if you were playing mid lane. And finally, and most importantly, in her lore, she charms soldiers while she drains the life essence out of them, and that is just plain terrifying. But even with all of these potential problems, Kept has found a way to make it work. At level 1, he gets his Q, or Orb of Deception ability. As Ahri's main damage ability, he'll be using it to poke throughout the laning phase. He'll typically try to avoid hitting many minions with this ability unless he wants the lane to push, and to get the most bang for his buck, he also aims to hit his target with the ability at its max range. This way, both the first half and the second half of the orb hit the opponent almost immediately, giving them basically no time to dodge the second half. Level 2, to level up his E or Charm ability. Charm is arguably better than a stun on a support, since it still locks up all of their abilities and makes them walk closer into danger. Kept likes to push for level 2 advantage quickly in the early game to try to catch the enemy off guard for a flash charm or just a high damage combo even without flash. This can net an early kill that can decide the outcome of the lane very early. Charm makes subsequent damage from Ahri do 20% more damage, so after landing it, he'll try to immediately lose all of his abilities and work in some auto attacks as well. This is also a good time to bring up that Kept's keystone that he brings is Glacial Augment, which makes both Orb of Deception and Charm easier to land. He regularly walks up to an opponent, auto attacks, then uses the slow from Glacial Augment to land an easy Orb of Deception or Charm, making his trades that much more elementary in the early game. At level 3, he'll level up his W or Foxfire ability. Kept maxes this ability last, so besides another opportunity to weave more damage in after a charm, he likes to use the speed boost that he gets when activating it to get in range to make plays. If an enemy walks somewhat out of position or a bit too close, he can normally capitalize on them, not accounting for the additional movement speed this ability provides, and quickly run in range for a charm to quickly start and engage. Similarly, This ability can be used to dodge abilities from the enemies and bait out key cooldowns as well. Just like mid Ahri, Këpt is maxing Q first as support. Orb of Deception does some great damage if you hit both parts of it and has some added bonuses as well. If he needs lane to push so the wave can crash, it can really chunk down a minion wave quickly, and with Ahri's passive, it can also heal him for a substantial amount if he gets low in lane. Don't underestimate how much sustain in lane can help you on a caster that needs to get in range like Ahri. This cycle continues until he hits level 6 when he levels up his ultimate, Spirit Rush. Këpt can use it to get in range to hit a charm and full combo an enemy, juke enemies' abilities for safety, or simply use it to create distance from an enemy team that's trying to focus him down. Let's note here as well that Këpt, similar again to our Nidalee support video, brings Everfrost on Ahri as his mythic item. Just like Nidalee support, he can either use his W or ultimate to hop into range of an enemy and lock them down with Everfrost. Following the Everfrost up with good timing and a charm means that the enemy cannot move for up to 3.5 seconds, just as long as a Jarvan ultimate or a long-range Ashe arrow. Your most basic and highest damage combo should look like this: ult or flash to get in range of the target, charm to CC them and amplify your upcoming damage, activate Foxfire since it will prioritize your charmed target, Orb of Deception in the same line you fired your charm in, Everfrost to extend the amount of time the opponent is CC'd, and use the remaining charges of your ultimate to finish your damage combo. You can try to weave in some auto attacks throughout the last half of the combo, or if you're earlier into the game and you don't have your ult or Everfrost yet, just take those components out. In mid-game, Këpt is looking for plays around vision across the map. Like LeBlanc support, this somewhat depends on how far ahead he got in lane, but if Këpt camps a bush and hits a charm or an Everfrost, or both, it can regularly mean an easy kill for him, or at least a huge chunk of damage on the unfortunate opponent that stumbles upon him. Also in the mid-game, or even early game under the right circumstances, Këpt will roam the map looking for kills. He has some great ganking ability with his charm or Everfrost if he's already purchased that, and helping other lanes with a kill can mean the difference. Just be sure you're roaming when your minion wave is crashed in bottom, or just after you back, so that way your AD carry isn't in dire need of you. When teamfighting as Ahri support, Këpt has one of two jobs. The first is to function as a catch, engage, or assassin mage with his charm and Everfrost. Enemies out of position before or during the team fight are susceptible to be caught by Këpt, and if he lands either one of his CCs, he can either burst them down himself or with a little help from his team. As always, he focuses on the highest priority target like mid, AD carry, or jungler if they're in safe range. The second purpose he can have during a team fight is to use both Everfrost and Charm again, but this time as a peel for his team. Enemies try to dive the backline or get close to your squishies are slowed down substantially by both of these abilities, either allowing his team enough time to kill the offending enemy or peel away to be out of their danger zone. In either of these cases, his side quest during team fights is to never die. Your charm is 2 seconds of CC by itself at max level, and this ability alone can turn the times of battle or allow him and his team to catch enemies who are running away. The longer he's alive, the more times he can use it in a team fight. Some quick Ahri tips and tricks I learned while watching Këpt play support Ahri. We talked about earlier how your passive is important as sustain, and that Q is typically your best bet for healing. But, to be more specific, you need to hit at least 3 enemies with your Q and passive active for it to be worth it. If you're unable to hit 3 enemies with your orb for your healing, you'd be better off using Foxfire instead. You can also check bushes with Ahri's orb. It doesn't give sight, but if you listen for sound cues, you will be able to hear when the ability comes in contact with someone or something, so keep note of that and keep your ears open if you suspect someone's hiding out. And the most important Ahri tip that I can already hear people making a comment about is that you can buffer your charm with flash. This means if you use the ability and then flash, your opponent will have less time to react. It's a high level skill, so try it a few times in practice tool first to become an Ahri god. For his build, he starts every game with a Spell Thief's Edge. From there, he'll start to rush his mythic item, Everfrost. He'll then rush to finish his boots using the magical footwear in his runes, and always getting Ionian boots of Lucidity to help with the non-scaling cooldowns of his charm and orb. After that, he'll look to the enemy team for his 4th and 5th items. If they're healing heavy, he'll start to build into a Chemtech Putrefier, valuing the ability haste and mana regen he gets from it over the health and extra AP he would get from Morellonomicon. If they're magic heavy, he'll build into an abyssal mass to become tankier and for synergy with his charm and Everfrost. Or, if they're neither magic or heal heavy, he'll instead build into a cosmic drive, since it offers him many stats that he wants on Ahri. He sticks to these 3 items for both of these slots. If the game goes long, or needs some more oomph in his build, he'll build an elixir of sorcery. And for his 6th item, and through the whole game, as a good support does, he's buying control wards to win the vision game. For his runes, he takes Glacial Augment for synergy with Everfrost and to more easily land abilities early game, Magical Footwear to save some cash, Biscuit Delivery for sustain in lane, and Cosmic Insight for lower cooldown on his summoner spells and Everfrost. He also brings Taste of Blood for more sustainability in lane, and Ultimate Hunter since Ahri's ultimate is one of her most important abilities. For his flex runes, he brings 2 Adaptive Force and either armor or magic resist depending on his lane opponents. Ahri Support works well with ADCs that can quickly follow up on her charm like Tristana and Kai'Sa, or ADCs with CC like Caitlyn and Seth. Ahri Support has difficulty against ADCs with gap closers like Lucian and Vayne, and hard engage supports like Thresh and Nautilus, but can overcome them by not getting hooked, so get good. If you guys want to see me try Ahri Support live, I stream every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and if you have any suggestions on what champion you'd like to see next in one of these support off-meta picks, go ahead and leave a comment below, and of course, please subscribe and like the video. That helps me in more infinite ways than you could imagine. Thanks y'all for tuning into this one. I hope you're having a great day or night or whatever it is for you, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.